Hey guys, gals, what's up? It's Chase. We're going to film an episode of The Daily Creative here on the plane. There's so many questions, and we're just trying to answer them anytime we have a down moment. So let's just get into it. I've got the voicemail on my phone here. I'm going to listen to it, and then we'll dub it into the recording so you can hear it. This is a question. Actually, you know what to do? The show, right? It's like 802-962-4357 if you got questions. Okay, you know. Okay, I'm going to listen. This is a question from a guy called Ben. And I think he doesn't want to have clients. Let's hear what he has to say.
Hey Chase, this is Ben from benfarmajr.com. I'm a documentary filmmaker. My question is can you make a living as a creative without having clients? I do client work, but I'm more passionate about doing documentary filmmaking. I know that there's some ways to make money using documentary, but I hear that you don't really make a return on your investment. So I do a lot of client work, but it's not where my passion is. So can you make a living without having clients? Thanks.
All right, Ben, good question. Can you make a living without having clients? So, a handful of thoughts here, and you're specifically around documentary films, which is your passion. I understand you do other work, but so there's almost always a client if there's money involved, and the client might not be a commercial client or a brand or the typical relationship. But if someone's giving you money, they usually expect some documentation, a program, you have to make something to deliver. There's a deliverable at the end of it. So basically, if there's a transaction and money's coming to you, there's some expectation, with one exception. Not with one main exception. YouTube. Okay, do you want to build an audience vlogging? Do you want to build an audience by creating a community like I have, or Gary or Marie Forleo, or there's a direct relationship there between you and your folks. They pay you through YouTube with their attention, for example. That's how Casey Neistat makes his living by and large prior to selling his company, for example. And I know YouTube creators who make a lot of money. It's an amazing and intense investment. If you're asking a YouTuber to make a living off of it, it's not easy. But that is a way to get paid from documentary work. It needs to be probably personality driven, like most vlogs are, but there's a way to make documentary films without having clients. In that case, to support the earlier statement that I opened with, like, YouTube is a client. So if they change something, you have to react. They change the algorithm or whatever. But just from the get-go, you got to remember that if there's money, there are clients in some way, shape, or form. Now, a couple other ways you can make it without clients in the typical way that you're asking. So for documentary filmmakers in particular, you can get grants, and grants are very hard to come by, but there are a lot of them out there, and the fact that they are hard to come by shouldn't mean that you don't go after them, because that's one of the ways you can be different than other folks, or you have a unique skill. You can write and get good at getting grants, so you can get paid to make documentary films. When I say something's hard, that might be great because it keeps all the other people out who don't care as much as you care. So that's the thing that you should think about. I think also, let's see, one more point on grants. If you can hire a grant writer, you have enough money to try and invest in that, they usually know how to get like what people are looking for when there's like a whole career of grant writers. And on the sort of the different end of the same spectrum, like Nat Geo has grants. You can also work for a nonprofit and go to these nonprofits, show them your work, and nonprofits can also they can raise money through their nonprofit status. A donor can give a nonprofit, say, $20,000 to make a video with a specific purpose. The donor gets the write-off, and then they would come to you with the money that's required to make the video to tell their story, for example. But at the core, I think what I want to just say that you have to. It's just like anything else. Deconstruct people and places that you see this work being done. Documentaries. There's also you can have a commercial relationship with brands that tell documentary stories. Filson just releases really cool series of videos working with the U.S. Forest Service. You should go check that out. Shout out to my friend Alex, who's a part of that team. Yeti, the cooler manufacturer, they do all kinds of documentary, storytelling and whatnot, and that is still having clients, but it's basically around going and telling a story. So between the grant writing, going to Nat Geo or any of the film festivals, having clients that use that kind of work, or building your own audience so that you don't have to answer to anyone except your audience, like those are all ways that you can sort of be less client, like, I understand that can be hard, but just know this is not a traditional path. That might make it the right thing for you, but as in all things, deconstruct where you see other people. When you see a great documentary, read the credits, where they're financial backers, where they're, and just also you can get like Patreon, for example, is a way where, is that what's called, Patreon? Yeah. Like you can have a community supported site where everyone gives you $20 a month and you make a new documentary. So there are ways, and using the internet is the number one mechanism. So hopefully you're great at social and you can, build an audience that cares about the same things that you care. Otherwise, I hope that's helpful. And awesome. Good question, Ben. Sweet. So I'm going to go to the next question here, which is, do we have time for another one? Yeah. Cool. Question 2.
Hey, Chase. My name is Hunter. I'm down here in Texas. My question is, well, really, I should just tell you kind of like a brief history. I've been a real estate agent for 10 years, and about 6 years ago, I actually started doing real estate photography, and that actually kind of snowballed, and I'm at the point now where I'm shooting between 3 and 6 houses a day, which is about all I can really handle. My question for you is, what kind of help should I look into as far as hiring goes? Also, what would be a good, how should I figure out how to pay them to where not only it's fair and my employee is happy, but they also want to stick with me? Anyway, man, I hope you're doing well. Bye.
Awesome. All right. So, sort of a detailed question. I think I'm going to try and simplify it, and then that is that how do you, when your business takes off and you get busy, how do you find some people that you need to try that can help you? What qualities do you look for in those people, and how do you retain them? And it's just like most employment, that you need to find people who care deeply about what it is that you're doing. If you're paying, there are people who are photo and video assistants, and if having a video assistant or a photo assistant is the thing you want, that's great. Then there are a pool of people who build themselves as photo assistants, and they usually work on the day or a day rate. If you want to make them an employee, that's an entirely different world, and you should see some of the other daily creatives where I talk about employing people. You need to know that your work is consistent enough and significant enough that you can pay a salary and benefits and things like that, that when stuff gets in the off season or whatever, you don't just lay those people off. That's not a good way to build a team and build rapport and build people that want to work on cool stuff with you. So I think that, that's the way I would like you to think about it. And you need to be so busy that you feel like you can keep this person busy, and that it's not just an ego thing because you see the people that your internet heroes having employees. I don't think that's definitely not the way to go. Now let's talk a little bit about the characteristics. I think you should do this very intentionally. Create a job description. What are the qualities that you're looking for? You can go out there on any job site and look at what a job description looks like. You can go to CreativeLive. We have creativelive.com/jobs. I think you can see what a job description reads like for a creative company. You can go to, actually this is a good time to, I'm hiring, by the way. This is a good time for me to plug. I'm hiring content creators. Keep an eye on my world, my social feeds. I don't mean to take away from your people there. Sorry about that. Anyway, so, but look, if you type in my name or go to my blog, you can look at I've hired people and I've written job descriptions about this is what it's like to work for me, and this is the very specific requirements that you're gonna need. And I don't beat around the bush. I am as direct and straightforward and honest as possible because you want to be transparent with what people will apply, and then you put that information out there on your social channels and your networks, and presumably you're paying attention to the other 50%, and you have a community that you can socialize this opportunity in. So again, that's sort of the big boulders that are the answers to that question. The one is like, make sure that you need to hire someone. Are they a contractor? Are they full-time? If they're full-time, like, you better get that part right. You should probably see an employment lawyer because you need an employment contract. It's much more sophisticated, but I'm basing, on the nature of your question. Certainly start out with hiring a freelancer. You really should get what is it like to manage someone. Have you ever managed any other humans? If you haven't, it's a skill in and of itself. You need to get good at that, and it's a good way to start, just to have lightweight contractors around, especially as a freelance photographer. So, and again, type in my name and hiring and job description or whatever, and some jobs will come up. You can see how I've written them, and you should also take reference from a bunch of other folks. Good luck. It's a big deal when you start to grow your team. It's an exciting part of the business, and I appreciate the question, because also there's so many people out here who are listening to this show right now who are thinking exactly the same as you. So again, I appreciate you all for volunteering your questions, but just remember, there's so many people who, that's the nature of this show, is that we can learn from putting our questions out there. I want you to know that you're not the only person who has this question, that thousands of people who are watching this have that same question. So good job for putting it out there. And that goes to anyone who writes into the Daily Creative. Calls in. Thank you so much for sharing this and promoting it and helping make the creative community a richer, better place to be. Second of all, if you do want your question on the show, it's pretty easy. It's 1-802-962-4357. Is that right? I think that's right. I hope that's the right number. Anyway, signing off from, 37,000 feet somewhere over California. All right. Signing off from that episode. I'll see you again probably tomorrow.